And what that does is that unlocks a lot of different optionality as far as what we have available to go out and make a trade. Instead of having one crack at the apple, we've got 3 cracks at the apple. Instead of taking one big bite out of the pizza pie, we can take 3 bites out of the pizza pie here. And that's what Phoenix has done. And if you think Phoenix is not all in and they're going to pivot away from Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, you are wrong. This trade just rubber stamps it that Phoenix is in business to try to go swing for the fences.
You are wrong. Wrong.
The price is wrong.
Bobby Marks on ESPN yesterday. He was on SportsCenter yesterday, and then he made an appearance on Bickley and Murata today. Just watching the national reaction to it, it really is all over the place. Like, Bobby Marks saying, okay, clearly maybe there's nothing specific in the works yet, but obviously they're still all in, and that certainly is reinforced by what happened yesterday. Our guy Kevin Pelton gave the Suns a C- for the trade. In it, he actually said, look, the flexibility they created is kind of impressive, and they're going to win the trade because there's just more value in having 3 first-round picks than the 1, even though the 1 is probably going to be so much better. Pelton did. When he gave him a C-. Yeah,
I looked at the CBS one. I know you sent the Pelton one as well.
What did CBS give him?
CBS, same thing, like a C- and then an A to the Jazz and like a C- to the Suns.
Yeah, here's
and I saw the one with Pelton. I saw the one you sent with Pelton.
Here's the one.
The thing is, I just don't think that the 3. I think the 2031 pick is more valuable.
We just don't know. I mean, the Suns want to make sure it's not very valuable. The Suns' goal is going to be to make sure that in 2031 they're still good. Right, and that pick isn't that special. And
don't worry about that later. Their goal is to try to win a championship.
Of course it is. But I mean, that's what under the belief is. And I can't remember where I read this, but I read this somewhere. There, like some of the reaction around the league is, look, Matt Ishbia is clearly so financially committed to making this thing as good as it can be. Will they ever really, truly crash and burn? Will they ever really, truly bottom out because of Matt Ishbia and his ownership? Go ahead.
You can always trade Booker and Durant. You could always, but if they go get Jimmy Butler, you're buying an extra year on the timeline.
Oh, sure,
of course. You're just putting yourself in a position where that 2032 first-round pick is going to be frozen.
Here's what Pelton said. He said, because teams tend to overvalue how much benefit they'll get from high lottery picks, trading down is typically a beneficial strategy because you just get more. I mean, look, what Mitch pointed out, he sent me a message in our last conversation. We can poo-poo the late end of the first round all we want. The Suns got Ryan Dunn at number 28. He's a good player. If you know what you're doing,
sure,
and you trust what you're doing, you can find good basketball players who can help you out at the bottom of the first round. It's not a death sentence. It's
right,
not
but if your team is not going to be good,
sure,
you're not getting the generational talent at the top that you get. That you usually only get at the top of the draft.
Get at the top of the draft. You only typically get them at the top of the draft, and what you really lose out on is control. Right? That's what Brooklyn got back in that deal they made with Houston. Hey, let us get our picks back. So we can, so we're in control of our destiny. We can decide we want to be bad, and we can reap the benefits from that, rather than you reaping the benefits of us being bad.
Yeah.
We want to incentivize ourselves to be bad, so that we can reap the rewards of that. The Suns will have none of that power over the next 6 years,
unless they trade with Houston.
Yeah, absolutely none of that. But the reason why Pelton gave him a C-, he said, yeah, it's great. You took one pick and you turned it into 3. He said, we all know what they're going to do with these picks. They're going to use them to farm them out in this idea of going for it right now. That's what this is there for.
My understanding is that there is the potential to line up a 5-team trade with Beal. But the problem is that there's at least 2 of the teams that aren't really interested.
Yeah.
So
you got to make them interested.
Right. So there's like a Beal deal would likely at this point be a 5-team deal. But there's a couple of teams that aren't, that you need to make the deal happen that aren't that interested. I think one of them is Miami.
Yeah.
So then it becomes like, okay, now what do you do? How can you make it happen?
Yeah, Pelton, there's so much reaction around the league. We're just trying to give you as much as we can and kind of let you make up your own mind. Pelton also wrote a realistic front office would consider the possibility of trading Kevin Durant before the February 6th deadline to recoup some of the draft picks the Suns are out. Instead, the Suns have extended the stretch without control of their first-round picks. I'll go to Mark Stein, who complimented the Suns. He goes, no matter what happens from here, this has the look of a pretty resourceful move from the Phoenix Suns, whose front office continues digging out pennies from their couch cushions to facilitate upgrades before the trade deadline.
Yeah.
I love that line. Right,
digging out pennies from the couch.
Hey, it's 99-cent chicken McNuggets at McDonald's. Can we scrounge up 99 cents in the couch? Right? Is it in there somewhere? Let's see. Oh, yeah. Okay, look, I got a quarter. Right? They're doing everything they can. And again, there's some.
I would have got you 2 patches of chicken nuggets for those 99 cents.
You would have?
I would have went to the drive-thru and I would have said, hey, I've got a buy one, get one free coupon for chicken nuggets. Because we used to do that all the time back in the day. All the time.
Yeah.
We used to, like, 6 of us used to, I've got a buy one free, get one free Big Mac. Got a buy one, get one free quarter pounder with cheese. I got a free large Coke with the purchase of fries. And I never had a coupon in my whole life. And me and my friends would just go to the window and they never asked.
So really the reaction is all over the place. You got some people who believe that Matt Ishbia will never allow this team to bottom out because he's spending so big on them. There are others who believe they're destined for a bottom out and they're wasting all their resources doing it.
What do you think? Are they destined for a bottom out?
I think they're destined for a bottom out.
When?
I think 1 year from right now.
Oh, okay.
Trade deadline next season, I think it's going to become apparent that in acquiring Jimmy Butler, it didn't give them everything they wanted.
2 playoff seasons with Butler, Durant, and Booker together. If they don't win, the bottom falls out. That's not a bad prediction.
I think so. This
season,
this playoff cycle,
if you got Butler, Durant, Booker, and then next,
right? I'm just saying by this time a year from now, trade deadline 2026. I think it's good because.
Oh, I thought you meant summer 2026.
No. I meant trade deadline 2026.
So you're not even giving it 2 playoffs.
1 year from right now.
Okay. I would go summer.
I think it's going to be obvious this isn't going to work.
Right.
They're too old. They're not good enough. It's not fitting. It's not working.
So don't even take it to the playoffs.
I think the decision will be made for them.
Okay.
They just won't be good enough to. Now, look, I know it's such a cop-out when I say this. I hope I'm wrong. Of course, I hope I'm wrong. I'm not rooting for them to fail. I'm not rooting for this to fail. I just think, Gambo, we're coming up on the 2-year anniversary of Kevin Durant coming to the Phoenix Suns. Kevin Durant and Devin Booker paired together. It hasn't worked.
It hasn't worked.
No. Nothing about it has worked. And they've tried just about everything they can to jumpstart it and make it work. New coach, new point guard, new roster, new this, new that, Bradley Beal. Nothing's worked. I just have a hard time believing that Jimmy Butler is the one thing that all of a sudden, everything just falls into place and it works.
Your options are very limited, though. Butler's the only, Butler's the best player you could go get for right now.
Oh, of course.
That's available.
Oh, no doubt. And
you can make little moves. You can make smaller moves.
No doubt.
And then that's debatable, whether the smaller moves are enough to get you over the top if you just added depth.
Before we take a break, so you're telling me postseason 2026 is when you think this bottoms out. Okay.
We're 3 months apart.
We're 3 months apart. I'm just saying trade deadline.
The deadline. I would say, what if you get to the deadline and they're the 5th or the 6th seed? I would still want to give it a playoff run. But if you go 2 more playoffs without getting the title, I got to cut bait right there.
Yeah.
I have to try to save myself.
Thanks for watching Burns and Gambo. Click to see more from the guys and hit the button in the middle to subscribe so you never miss a video from Arizona sports.